Okay, guys. I've lost track of how many times I made this stupid video. First one, I don't know, something, and then the second one something, and then the third one, or whatever, however many. The last one, I was eating a lozenge because I have a sore throat, and I was watching it, and I was like, I don't want to listen and watch this video of me talking with a lozenge in my mouth. And I'm sure my viewers, my subscribers, won't want to either. So I deleted that one as well. So here we go. A couple things I wanted to say. More like, okay. One is a story that I think that I just learned today from my dad, which I thought was kind of cool, interesting, and a little bit sad, all in one. The other thing is, guys, I've gained weight. Ever since I started this new med, I have gained weight, and I don't like it. I don't like the way I look. I don't like the way I feel. I look in the mirror, and I don't really think I look that bad or that big, but like when I'm making videos or I look at pictures, I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't like it, guys. I don't like it. Before all this happened, this health stuff that I've been going through recently in the last few months, I was kind of getting back on track and trying to lose some weight. And I was losing very, very slowly. Not a lot, just a few pounds here and there, but I was doing it, and I bought a bike, and I was super excited. It's a trike. I still have it. It's a 7-speed. We put it together. Didn't work. Hired somebody to try to fix it. He didn't know what he was doing. And at the time, I didn't want to deal with trying to get it in the car because it didn't fit very well, and then trying to secure it to get down the road to take it to the bike shop and blah, blah, blah. I put it off. And then this new health thing started. That was put on the back burner. And I'm now gaining weight. And now I need to lose it. But first, I need to get my eating under control because I normally don't eat that much, guys. I eat a little bit in the morning, like late morning. I don't really eat until dinner time, and then I have whatever. And so I really need to get that under control. Then I need to get my bike fixed, start riding that, but I had to put that on the back burner. So hopefully I can put it on the front, one of the burners, okay? Also, I finally scheduled my cardiology appointment, but it's not till August 18th. That's like over a month away. So I'm on the the cancellation list. So if somebody cancels, they call me, I go in earlier, hopefully. So hoping and praying that somebody cancels, bless their hearts, and that I can take their spot because I really need to be seen. A month, I know my doctor's going to be like, I don't want to wait. You can't wait another month, over a month. That's over a month away. You can't wait that long. I know she's going to say that. So she gets back in office on Friday. So she will get my message because she wanted me to let her know. So that's scheduled. Hopefully they move it up. I need to figure out a way to get there. My sister-in-law said that she could take me if they are in Arizona at the time, at their house. So they go between here and Oregon. So we'll see. Excited to get this going, see him, see, is this a heart issue? Is it not a heart issue? If it's not a heart issue, where do we go from here? Probably a neurology from here. So, oh, you guys, we're getting closer. We're getting closer. You have no idea. I need to get my life back. I need to start functioning like I used to, or at least close to it. I'd really like to get a part-time job, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, that being said, so there's that. Also, what I wanted to tell you, the story, I was talking to my dad tonight. Now, I needed information from him. I have memory issues. I don't remember a lot of things from my recent years, here and there, distant years, bits and pieces, childhood bits and pieces. Some things, yeah, I just know from like just reoccurring dream, or just a memory. and then just little bits and pieces of that memory. So I needed to put it together. And there was this one event that happened as a child that I needed more clarity. The reason being is I probably will write a book, not a biography, but just a story about my life. And I needed these things answered. So I would have it for when I decide to write this book. So I still have other things that I probably need him to do, and I need to do this before he too goes home to be with my mother. So he's still pretty healthy. He's 80 something years old, I'm just saying. I'm not ready for him to leave me anytime soon, and I hope and pray he doesn't, but just in case, I need these things answered so that when I'm ready to write this book, which once I get everything together, I will, I have all that information. So anyway, so we're talking on the phone, and we somehow got to all the houses we lived in Minnesota. Minnesota was where I was born. I did not grow up there. I grew up in Oregon. We lived in Minnesota until kindergarten, moved to Phoenix. From Phoenix, 15 months later, to Oregon. Actually, we went to California and then Oregon, or Oregon to I forget. Anyway, we landed in Oregon. That's where I grew up. But while we were in Minnesota, we lived in a series of houses, a few different houses. My dad names them. There was the new house, which is the story I want to tell you about. Then there's the house that they bought from my mom's dad. There's another story I'll tell you about. It's part of the story. Then there is the barn house, which looks like a barn, then the lake house, and then the 10th Street house, which was the house that they bought from my my grandfather, my grandpa Jackson, my mom's dad and mom. He was an architect, okay? So he designed buildings, and I guess one of his clients, for whatever reason, in payment, gave him this house. 1973. I don't know. I guess that's what they did back then. Anyway, so my parents had bought this new house, brand new house. He said it was a really nice house. I don't remember. He didn't really say how long they lived in it, but they bought it. They realized the mortgage was too much. And then at that time, my grandfather had said, hey, I got this house. How would I sell it to you for a really good price? So they paid, he thinks, $18,000 for it. So they sold that house. He said it was a really nice house, and they really liked it. It was brand new. It's 1970s, so, obviously it's not going to look like it does today, modern-wise. But back then, it was a really nice house. So they moved out. Moved into this house. It is the 10th Street house. The new house was in Wade Park, not the name of the city, but the community. It was either in St. Cloud or a suburb of St. Cloud, near St. Cloud, outside of the city. I forget exactly what he said. I have notes, but I'm not going to look through. So they moved out to the 10th Street house, which is the one that they bought from my grandfather for $18,000. I was either born in that house. Well, I was born while we lived in that house. I wasn't born in it. I was born in a hospital, St. Cloud, Minnesota hospital, the city hospital, whatever it was. So I was either born when we lived in the 10th Street house or the new house in Wade Park. He can't remember which one. Well, anyway, 2 weeks after we sold that house and moved into our other house, a tornado leveled it, destroyed the entire house, nothing left of it. He said he didn't say he was lucky, but you could tell it was like, we got lucky. We got lucky. The people that bought the house was not so lucky. I feel kind of bad for him, but it was 1973, so I'm probably not living anymore, but I still feel bad for him. Could you imagine just buying a house and then it's like destroyed by a tornado? But flip side, what if my family was still living there, my siblings, my parents, and me being a newborn, and then they lose our house? What if we were in it? Life might look very different. I might not be here. Who knows? But my parents, God was looking out for them during that time, that time in their life, man, to, dodge that bullet. So then we lived, I forget the sequence of houses he said, but at some point, and this is the house I remember. I don't remember any of the other houses, obviously, but I think the one we moved from was the lake house. There was the barn house, because it was shaped like a barn, it looked like a barn. And then there was the lake house. The lake house was a manufactured home that we added onto. It was on a lake. It was Long Lake, I believe. I thought it was Mille Lacs. That's my uncle owned a cabin on that lake, I think is what I'm confusing it with. We lived on Long Lake. We had 5 acres, and my parents built a big like downstairs room, so they had to dig down and build that room, so it was a downstairs, and that's where we took cover for tornadoes. So instead of having like a cellar, we would go down there. And then they had some sliding doors or some doors, and then they built a deck or a patio off that, and then that went down to the lake. So it was kind of like in the back of the house, I guess. So I think that's the house we moved from, because like when I see pictures, I'm about that age. Because I remember I went to kindergarten in Phoenix when I lived in Phoenix. So we moved, I think, from that house to Phoenix. Well, no, we moved from my grandparents because my dad had gotten a job in Phoenix. He had to go to Phoenix to work and couldn't bring us for a few months. He had to like get some paychecks together, rent a house or buy a house. I forget. I don't know if we bought that house or rented it, but I remember it was a nice little house. Not so much now. I've seen it. It's not a nice house. It's so old, but then again, it was built in 1970s. So, so yeah, he did that, and we stayed with my grandparents. Not the one we bought the house from, not my grandpa and grandma Jackson. By the way, my parents bought the house from my mom's parents. When I say they bought it from my grandpa, I mean, it belonged to my grandparents, both of them. It's just, he was like a businessman. So like when I refer to things, I refer to it as coming from my grandfather, my grandpa Jackson, Frank Jackson. Just because he was like that business person, where my grandmother kind of wasn't involved in that. So that's why. But no, they were married up until my grandma passed away. My grandma Jackson actually passed away when I was 5, so I don't remember her. And my grandpa Frank was not a real warm, friendly person. He wasn't like a typical grandpa type. He was very business, very matter of fact. Image of his family was everything to him. He threw parties. He was, this big influential person in the community. So he wasn't like my other grandparents. I actually don't have a lot of memory of him. And I don't know. I have some, but they're like, again, they're bits and pieces. But I have a lot of memory because we spent way more time with my grandpa and grandma Yosep. They were the typical grandparents, the nurturing, the loving, the wonderful. Oh, they were wonderful people. So kind. So they were just awesome. My dad said that he won the lottery. He hit the jackpot when he got Hank and Josephine for his parents. And they were good people. They were great. I love my grandparents. So we stayed with them while my dad got things set up in Phoenix. and so we kind of hung back. And then we moved to Phoenix for 15 months. Then we ended up moving at sometime to California for 5 months. And then Oregon is where we settled, and that's where I basically grew up in Oregon. But I have fond memories of living with my grandparents. I remember my grandpa used to, when my brothers got the basement, and he would yell down, you guys be quiet down there when they were too loud. It was with his Minnesota accent. Such fond memories. And then we had a candy drawer that was always full of Brock's candy and licorice, and it was always full. It was never empty. So he stocked that. He stocked it well. I remember that house. It was great. It just was your typical grandma and grandpa house. Oh my gosh, then they had this little poodle named Tootsie, and she was the nastiest little thing. She'd have a blanket on the couch. If you got anywhere near it, she'd just lunge at you and just like try to bite you. Or she would hide underneath the couch, and if you would go sit down and you put your feet there, she'd come out and she'd bite your ankles. Nasty little thing. But it's so funny. Good memories. But yeah, and when I talk to my dad, I always learn something new. Every time I talk to him, I always learn something new, whether it's history, our family, or his, or whatever, sometimes useless knowledge, maybe. But it's always interesting, and I love talking to my dad. He's just a wealth of information. He's just so, yeah, it's interesting. So a lot of my book will probably have some of that in it. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say. I wanted to keep this video a little bit shorter, so I'm going to end it here. As usual, till next time, take care and God bless.